Hey guys, so here is part 3 for what if GT Goku was sent to the past. So, what happened now is we see Goku living with Chi-Chi for a bit, and at this point, this is when Kami comes to give Goku a visit. And Kami tells Goku that he's basically the watcher of planet Earth, and that he wants to train with Goku to teach him some new skills. To which Goku tells Kami everything about where he comes from and how he has been sent to the past. And Kami is quite interested in this. And then he tells Goku that then Goku can refine all the knowledge that Kami has, since Kami has a lot of knowledge about ki control and all that in books. And on top of that, Kami can help Goku reach his old potential. So Goku then spends the next 3 years popping by Kami's to train while going home to Chi-Chi in the evenings. So he does this for 3 years and his body ages up to that of a young adult. After this, that means that since now he's about the age of a young adult, he can access more of his abilities, such as the Super Saiyan transformations. So Goku now is able to use Super Saiyan at ease, like very easily, and to basically spend the whole day in this form, since he's been training in it for 3 years. And on top of this, he can use the Super Saiyan 2 transformation about half as effectively as he could usually. So he can basically spend quite a bit in the form, but it's still obviously more taxing than the normal Super Saiyan form. On top of this, he can use Super Saiyan 3, but it takes a lot of stamina, and he can only hold it for a very short time. So now Goku is told by Kami that Piccolo actually had a son called Piccolo Jr., and Piccolo Jr. is much more strong than his father ever was. And on top of this, he's been fitted with even better android enhancements, and he even has Saiyan DNA the way Goku does, to which Goku thinks of how powerful Piccolo has become, and is actually excited at the prospect of fighting Piccolo at this point. So now, Commander Gold has had 3 years to work on improvements in technology and to make Piccolo stronger. On top of this, since Goku did try transforming into a Super Saiyan a few years ago, the spy bots on top of this know about the Super Saiyan transformation, which means that Piccolo has been built to be able to fight against the Super Saiyan form. So Piccolo right now is extremely powerful. So Commander Gold tells Piccolo, "I've done just about all I can do for you, and I've given you my best technology. Now go and do me proud, my boy. You know, I've thought of you like a son," as Piccolo says. "Those are some touching words, old man. But now, it's time for me to take my place as the ruler of this planet," as he then launches a blast into Commander Gold's stomach, making Commander Gold lose consciousness, as he then flies off towards the tournament to fight against Son Goku, the man who killed his father. So Commander Gold wakes up after a week, almost dead, his arms and legs being blown off by the blast of Piccolo, and his stomach being dramatically wounded, to which Commander Gold says, "I swear revenge against you, Piccolo, and all those who have harmed me," as he then enters his own android pod and starts becoming mechanical. As he does this, and the amount of time he will take in that pod is not known. All that is known is by the time he comes out, he will be a whole different beast. And simultaneously, side by side, the one that he created from scratch, Cell, is developing with him. So now we see Piccolo go to the tournament arena, since this is the world tournament again after a few years, and Goku is participating in it. So then what happens now is everyone comes to see how strong everyone has become. So we see Krillin come who has now basically mastered different types of the Kaioken and can now even use Kaioken times 20 with relatively easily. On top of this, we now see a young man with sunglasses who's actually Master Roshi, as Master Roshi wished for his youth, as he realizes that his power will be needed years from now and he can't just be an old man forever, as he then wishes for his youth, and he too can use the Kaioken to a very big degree. So now Roshi has his own abilities such as the Mafuba and all that. So what happened is Master Roshi for the last few years has been training the Mafuba to the point that he can use it without dying and can use it quite easily as a sealing technique to restrain opponents. The issue is that to actually completely seal them off, it takes a lot more energy than usual. So now what happens is they all begin the tournament. So for the first fight, we have Goku versus Krillin, while Roshi fights against Piccolo Jr. So Goku fighting against Krillin is a rematch from their first fight in the previous part, where Goku won. And Krillin was driven to perfect his abilities and become even more powerful. As Krillin then lands and says, "I don't have the same power as you, Goku, but I've practiced my techniques, and I will defeat you. I will try to at least." As he then says, "Solar flare," as then Goku is blinded by a bright light. And on top of this, Krillin then shouts, "Kaioken times 10," as he then launches a barrage of attacks on Goku, while Goku is still blinded. As Goku takes some damage from this, and then Goku says, "Let me show you what I've been working on." As Goku then says, "This is a form that I call Super Saiyan," as he then manages to break out of his binding position, as he then punches Krillin, and this punch damages Krillin heavily, as Krillin says, "I'm not done yet," as he then puts 2 destructive discs on both of his arms, and then he says, "This is my double destructive disc." And then, just as Goku thinks that this is all, Krillin actually met Tien during this time skip, and Krillin and Tien became friends. And due to this, Krillin learned some techniques from Tien also, and Tien also became more powerful, and he became a good guy with Chaozu. So Krillin then uses the multi-form technique, as he then splits into 4 different Krillins, as then he says, "Now I've split into 4 clones of myself. The issue is that this splits my power by 4. So my power is now divided by 4 for each of us. But that doesn't matter, since a destructive disc can cut anything." As then Krillin then says, "Kaioken times 20, as all the clones become 20 times more powerful than the base, which equalizes the gap in power that he had before." And then he then says, "Double destructive disc," as 8 destructive discs are launched at Goku, and they all swerve into many different directions, as Goku is actually shocked, and some of them actually start cutting him, and eventually he gets worn down more and more and more, until Krillin's actually about to win this fight. But then just before he does, Goku then says, "This is just my first stage," as he then says, "Behold, Super Saiyan 2," as lightning then strikes across his body, as he then reaches his Super Saiyan 2 form, which is super powerful, and the sheer force of the transformation launches Krillin's destructive discs away, as Goku versus Krillin then happens, and Krillin is actually defeated very easily at this point. It's a respectable loss though, since Goku acknowledges that Krillin fought well, and if it wasn't for the Super Saiyan 2 transformation, he actually would have lost. As Krillin is satisfied with this, and he says, "Don't worry, Goku, I'll push my techniques further and further until I defeat you." And Goku says, "I wouldn't want it any other way, friend," as they shake hands. Next is Roshi versus Piccolo, And in this fight, Roshi then says, "I'll do to you what my old master did to your father." As then Roshi doesn't waste any time and he tries seething Piccolo, as Piccolo is put inside the bottle. But Piccolo says, "You think this is enough to hold me, old man?" As he then charges up and breaks the container that Roshi was gonna use to seal him. As Roshi then says Kaioken times 20, but this is not enough. As Piccolo then charges up and says, "I too have Kaioken." As basically Piccolo also doubles his strength. And instead of, he doesn't even need Kaioken times 20, he just needed Kaioken times 2. And with one punch, Roshi is launched out of the ring, which highlights how strong Piccolo had become through this form. On top of this, Piccolo then comes down and he says, "Son Goku, you're next." As Goku and Piccolo face each other off. Piccolo is able to use Kaioken to a much higher degree than anyone else, since his energy and stamina is infinite, and his regeneration is higher than anyone else, which means that Kaioken only does about half as damage to him. So Piccolo then smirks and says, "I saw your most powerful form, I'm not gonna go easy on you." As Piccolo then shouts, "Kaioken times 50. As Piccolo then gets a red flame emerge from his body, as his ki flickers on him like fire, as his power level skyrockets to levels that no one had ever seen. After the 3 years of training and development, his power level was about 100,000, but with this 50 times multiplier, his power level is about 5 million, which is crazy high. And Goku at this point was about a similar level of 100,000. And remember, this is a Goku from pre-Dragonball Z, and he's already at Namek Saga level. So I'm not trying to lowball Goku very much, but I'm trying to make it so that he's not like game ending from the start. So then Goku then looks at Piccolo and says, "This is quite high, this is quite powerful." As Goku then says, "But my Super Saiyan 2 should be able to cover it." But since Goku was already injured from the previous fight, he's not as strong as he would usually be. As Goku then says, "Super Saiyan 2, as then he transforms into Super Saiyan 2 transformation, and he launches into battle against Piccolo, and they pummel each other, and it's blow for blow about. As then Piccolo says, "Let's push this higher, Kaioken times 60, as Piccolo's power level multiplies again, as Goku is put on the back foot, and Piccolo says, "Is this all that this mystical fighter Goku had? Well, it's over for you now, as I will destroy you once and for all." And as Piccolo is about to put the finishing blow on Goku, Goku then closes his eyes, breathes in and out, and says, "I've not used you in a while, but it's time for me to get serious." As he then launches a big shout, and this pushes everyone in the stadium back. The stadium starts shaking, the sky starts trembling, the waves of the water start becoming enormous, cities are getting earthquakes, as Goku then shouts and he reaches his Super Saiyan 3 transformation, bringing his power level to a whopping 600 million level, or even higher. As at this point, his potential is dramatically higher, as Piccolo does not stand a chance against this form. As Goku versus Piccolo is now a one-sided battle, as Piccolo is put on the back foot, as Piccolo is thinks he's going to be killed by Goku. He tries anything he can to survive. He shoots whatever blasts he can, and it doesn't work. There's nothing he can do to defeat Goku at this stage. And Goku says, "I know you are not a bad guy, Piccolo. It's your father whose influence is making you like this. But I'm putting faith that you'll become a better person." As he basically spares Piccolo. And Piccolo is not 100% evil. He just has evil inclinations. But Piccolo then says, You may have let me live, Goku, but I'll make sure you live to regret it. As he then slithers into the background to come out at some later point. So now, after this, we have a time skip where Goku has Gohan as usual. And what happens now is that Raditz is coming to planet Earth. As he lands onto planet Earth, but since Goku knew where he would land, he meets him directly. And he tells Raditz, look, I know you're my brother. I've been through this before. But I'll be honest with you. I'm giving you two options. You either join me or you go back where you came from. But if you go back where you came from, I know you won't be able to, we both know you won't be able to defeat Frieza. Or third, you could try fight me right now and I could probably kill you. As Raditz is shocked by the confidence that his brother has, as he says, who do you think you are talking to me like this, you low-class Saiyan? You're not even close to my power. As Goku then smirks and says, that thing on your head, it's a scouter, right? It can sense my power level, right? As Raditz says, yes, and your power level is only a merely 600 at this point. My power level is 1,500. You're not even halfway to my power. As Goku then says, okay, bet, keep looking. As Goku then starts charging up, his power level multiplies greatly. As Raditz can't believe his eyes. It hits 1,500. It hits 3,000. It hits 6,000. It hits 9,000. It goes to 15,000. Then it goes to 50,000. Then just before anyone notices, it hits 100,000. And then it shatters. Vegeta seeing this from his space pod, and he sees exactly what Raditz can see. As he says, this Saiyan has a power level of 100,000. As Vegeta slams his space pod and says, Nappa, we're going straight to Earth. We're taking that guy with us, no matter what. As then he tells Raditz, I know you're dead, so sayonara. As he then turns off the scouter and uses Raditz to die. And Raditz says, damn you, Vegeta. That's what I get with hanging out with people who don't care about me. As Raditz realizes that now he has two options, to either fight this guy or join him. As Raditz then says, I have no choice, do I? I'll join you. As Goku says, I know we're brothers, so I'll treat you well. I'll be honest to you, those guys were gonna kill you at their most nearest convenience, especially that Vegeta guy. So how about this? Are you tired of being low-class scum? Are you tired of being treated like a weakling? Well, come on over to Goku's training camp, and we'll make you tough as nails. As Raditz is like, what type of advertisement is this? And starts laughing. As Goku says, don't worry, they will be here in about a year, right? As Raditz says, yeah, they will. Then Goku says, don't worry. In 1 year, I'll make you 100 times more powerful than they are at this moment. As Raditz says, is that a guarantee? As Goku says, don't worry, I'm just lowballing the number. As Goku takes Raditz to the hyperbolic time chamber, and they enter for 2 days. And when Raditz comes out, he's a whole different man. He ties his hair back. He comes out in a vest. And he looks calm. No longer with that angry, brutish expression. As he starts laughing, chatting to his brother. And he says, that was a fun 2 years, Kakarot. Am I right? As Goku then says, yeah, it's actually nice talking to you, to my older brother. As Raditz and Goku are actually friends after these 2 years. As Raditz says, alright, let me test out my power. As Raditz does one nudge shout as he then turns into a Super Saiyan. And he says, this is quite neat, Goku. Thanks for training me. As Goku then pats Raditz on the back and says, that's what brothers do. So in these 2 years, Goku managed to turn Raditz into a good guy after hard training and meditation. And Raditz realized that there was no need to be a brute, as now he has the power level to stand up against anyone who comes against him. So now what happens is Vegeta and Nappa land as Goku comes with Raditz to confront them. As Vegeta says, Raditz, move aside. You're not important. We came here for Kakarot. As Raditz then says, big talk from someone who's not even close to my power anymore. As Vegeta says, we were only gone for 1 year. 1 year, what do you think you can do? As what happens now is that Raditz says, well, look at your scouter, Vegeta, and see how far I've come. As Vegeta then looks, as Raditz charges up, as his power level goes from 1,500 as usual to a breakneck 7,000, then 50,000, then 100,000, then breaks the scouter. Then Vegeta says, you're as powerful as Kakarot now. And Raditz says, no, Kakarot is more powerful than me. And I'm even more powerful than what the scouter says. It just broke before it could finish counting. As Vegeta and Nappa are scared. As Goku then explains, I know why you guys are here. You guys want to kill this tyrant Frieza, right? Well, it's okay. I agree. I'll help you. As Vegeta then says, what's the catch? There has to be something you want. As Goku then says, yeah, what I want is that you guys stop being evil and killing innocent people. Only use your power for justice. As Vegeta says, you know what? I would normally refuse, but I need your training. So I agree to your terms. Vegeta in his head thinking that he's gonna double cross Goku whenever he wants to. As Goku then says, alright, come with me. As Goku, Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta enter the hyperbolic time chamber for 1 day. And this is where I'll leave it off. So this part was quite long, but I don't want to have too many parts of this series. So we'll leave it here for now. I hope you enjoyed and have a good day.